Hey everyone, Dominic from CMAC here, and in today's video I'll be covering lighting options at home. So specifically I'll be talking about hard versus soft lighting, natural light, and artificial light, so stay tuned. The most important thing for you to worry about when it comes to lighting is that the audience needs to be able to see you on the camera, so you shouldn't be too dark or too bright. When it comes to deciding what sources of light to use at home, you have multiple options to consider, more than what you might think. That includes natural light coming through the windows and artificial light such as ceiling fans, table lamps, nightstands, and so on. But before I get into those specific options, I want to touch base a little bit on hard versus soft lighting. Hard light is light coming from a small source and often creates distinct or harsh shadows on the subject. Soft light, on the other hand, is a larger light source that is generally closer to the subject, and it creates more blurred or softer shadows. So you can think of the sun as the hard light when you're outdoors versus a window or a softbox. Now let's talk about natural and artificial lighting. Natural light is light coming in through the windows of your home, like through your dining room, kitchen, bedroom, and so on. And in my case, my natural light source is coming through my office window just in front of me behind the camera. So I know I just mentioned that the sun can be a hard light, but in this instance, the light is coming in through the window and it's being framed by it, and it's also larger than me, so it's being diffused right in front of me. You should definitely use natural light to your advantage because the sun isn't going to turn off on you randomly, like due to power failure or a dead battery. Just be aware that the position of the sun is going to change throughout the day, so the color temperature is going to be very different between midday, morning, and sunset, and cloud coverage can diffuse the light, so I definitely recommend playing around in different hours of the day to see what you like. As for your artificial lights, these lights need to be powered on by some sort of source, whether it's through the wall outlet in a room or a battery. Having to rely on a light that is plugged in does mean a constant power source, but you are limited on mobility due to the cable length of the light. Unlike with battery power lights that do allow more flexibility on placement, but the batteries are going to die after a certain period of time. Another thing to keep in mind is the color temperature of the bulbs you're using, like is it more warm or more cool in color. This is marked in K for Kelvin. When you purchase a light bulb, you should see some sort of indication of the color temperature on the side of the box that's going to range from either more blue or more warm in color. This is definitely useful when you're trying to match all your light sources in color temperature so you have a unified look. And don't be afraid to experiment with both natural and artificial light. So for this video tutorial, I'm using both. The window natural light is coming in behind the camera as my main source of light, and then I'm using two LEDs. This backlight here is meant to help separate me from the background a little bit, and then another one off to the side here from the camera as a little bit of a fill light. Okay, so let's assume that you've considered all of your artificial lighting options, but they're not quite cutting it for you. Maybe they're not as versatile as you thought. There are other low-cost options out there for you to consider. First off, can lights. These lights you can purchase at your local hardware store or online for about 10 to 15 bucks. Depending on which model you get, you'll be able to adjust maybe the pan and tilt of the head. For example, this one can do both, left, right, up, down. And then this one also comes with a clamp, so I can mount this on, let's say, the back of this chair, the edge of this desk. And this one does have a power cord, so it does need to be plugged into a power outlet. Another thing to keep in mind is that these lights can accept a whole assortment of different bulbs, and you should definitely think about the color temperature and the power output when you're looking up one of these. Next thing you can consider getting is an on-camera LED light like this one here. I got this off of Amazon a couple years ago for about 40 bucks. It came with these two different gel diffusers, and there's so many different models out there. They can do, various things, like some have built-in bicolor, meaning that you can adjust from warm or cooler temperatures with just a dial or some sort of button on the back. Some have their own type of lithium-ion battery. This one specifically takes AA batteries, and I can also see on the back, if I press this button, how much battery is left on the back. And then I can also adjust the power intensity with this dial. So I can turn it on to full power, and respectively, if I press that battery meter, it tells me, okay, at this power output, it's going to be very low on battery. If I dial it back down a little bit, there should be more battery life left remaining, respectively. So as you can see, this light is quite useful. If you're looking for something a little bit smaller than that LED light, but maybe just as powerful or even more powerful, you could consider getting this Aperture M9 light. It's an LED built-in battery that's charged via USB cable. It has a power switch on the side. I can adjust the power output with other buttons. There's already a built-in diffuser on the front, and it also comes with 2 different colored gels if you want to use that. This light goes for about $50 on Amazon, so it's a little bit more expensive than the other one, but definitely a lot cheaper than having to buy your own light kit. And that does it for this tutorial on different lighting options at home. Thank you so much for watching. You can check this one out along with other video tutorials on our social media platforms, including Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram via @CMAC TV, as well as our YouTube and cable channels. See you next time. Take care.